Hey guys, when I was going through this module, felt like I was a little confused about what digital literacy actually was. I always thought it was just being able to look at content and resources online in order to enhance or supplement your learning in order for better understanding. But I think the big component that I was missing when I was looking through some of the resources and when I was watching the lesson and looking at the PowerPoint is that a lot of it has to do with teaching kids how to effectively use this content and the resources that they're looking at online to better be able to communicate. And, one thing that we do in our class a lot is we do have kids communicate digitally, but I've never really thought about teaching them how to do that effectively. So, what I was going to do with this video is kind of show you guys some of my favorite resources or some of my favorite content that we use in my classroom online. And then I was going to show you guys a resource that I found that I thought would be meaningful in teaching kids how to effectively communicate digitally. So some of the really cool resources that I like that I've used for years, this is mainly for math and science teachers, but I don't know if you guys have ever used Generation Genius. It's awesome. It has a video with each lesson, and then it's got basically an entire lesson up underneath it. And you can assign like pieces of it, or you can assign the whole thing to kids. And then you can even do some assessments after the lesson. So I really like that one. I'm sure everybody's heard of BrainPop. We use BrainPop all the time in my classroom, but something that I just got into in the last year were actually these features on the side where you can actually have kids do activities with the videos. So one of the ones that I love having them do is make a movie. I'll use it like as an extra credit kind of activity that they can do, but they basically create their own little brain pop video on a topic that you're teaching. So I really like it. The kids really like it. And they also like the games on Brain Pop. Not all the videos have those features, but for the ones that do, I love using that. I use Edpuzzle all the time. You can see this is actually my Edpuzzle page, and I use it a lot for remediation. Like after we do quizzes or tests, or after we do these DSPs, which is basically like their homework. So I like it because you can find videos on pretty much anything, and it'll already have like questions that you can edit. And as the video plays, it'll stop and it'll ask them a question to make sure that they're understanding chunks of the video, which is really cool. But it also has a feature where you can upload your own videos. So I basically have a video for every single standard that we teach. It took me a long time to get that far, but now I know I have a remediation video for every single standard. So that could be useful, and that's something that we use a lot. Also for the science teachers, I don't know if you guys have ever used PhET before, but they're basically these simulations. And I'll just show you like a really basic one. So we teach energy, potential, and kinetic. And this is just an example of a little simulation where they can kind of observe what's happening with the energy as she skates back and forth. And we'll usually have them do like a little discussion or like a little activity with what they're observing. And then we also, the platform that we mainly use when we're wanting kids to get into discussions digitally, we do a lot of Flipgrids in my class, especially when we do big PBLs, big projects. We have them do a lot of like discussions and reflections as they go. So this is kind of the one I wanted to hone in on as far as taking it to that part of digital literacy that I really was not understanding. And I found this resource in Module 14, Digital Conversations in the Classroom. And I really liked the idea of first of all teaching kids how to make a good post. I mean, this is like their everyday life is like reading posts that they see on their social media platforms. And I liked the idea of teaching them how to do this in an effective way that gets across their ideas, but isn't like silly or isn't just meaningless. And also for them to have in mind that like what they put on a digital platform is forever. It's a digital footprint that they create that will follow them, that can always be found. So I like the idea of teaching them, first of all, what is a good post? And I like the idea of them composing actual tweets or actual posts that they would, post on a social media platform, but that is related to the content that we're teaching. But also the idea of having them practice like creating a post that will prompt conversation, because this is like a skill that's kind of hard to just naturally come by. I mean, I've even learned this in doing our little discussion post in this class, that sometimes I would post things, but it wasn't prompting any sort of conversation. So I think that's an important skill, not just in the classroom to teach kids, but just as a real world skill on how to have like appropriate, effective conversations online with people. So I liked some of the ideas that they put on here. I know they mentioned Padlet. I've never used Padlet before, but it looks like there's a couple different things you can do with it, where you can just like people's posts. So you can just kind of, if you tell them like, pick your top 3, what were the top 3 posts that did a good job of whatever it is that you're wanting them to do. And then it looks like it also has like a comment option to it. So I like the idea of them engaging in actual conversations and discussions, because I have learned with Flipgrid, they tend to just make their little videos, and then when they reply to each other through a video, they're always just like, good job, or yeah, or, they'll say something silly, to get attention or whatever, or to just be funny. But I do like the idea of really getting them to learn how to digitally engage with each other. So that was a resource that I found that I thought we could definitely utilize in my classroom, because we do have a lot of, we try to prompt digital conversations, but we don't really have effective digital conversations that happen in our classroom. And I do think the kids would actually enjoy this, because middle schoolers really enjoy being social. So I just wanted to share a little bit about what we use, and then, what I've learned from this module.